It is an absolute privilege and honor for us here to welcome you to the inaugural session of the 25th edition of the Women Economic Forum 2019 in New Delhi. That's why we say that's why we call it the motherland. Being in India is like being home. That's why I've been telling everybody that I've been meeting since yesterday that welcome home. At some lifetime, you were here. So you're only coming back to the motherland. So I want to welcome you all from the bottom of our hearts. You've all traveled many a miles to be here. So thank you for making that in your heart space, creating that energy in your heart space to make that journey. It's already been such a transformational day, and we're only on the first day yet. We have a big journey ahead of us that's going to really fill our cup. With that, I'd like to invite the speakers for the inaugural session. It's my privilege to invite on stage Lord Swaraj Paul, an active member of the House of the Lords, former Deputy Speaker for the House of the Lords and the Parliament, and a leading businessman, Chairman of the Caparo Group, the UK-based industrial company employing 7,000 people with operations in Europe, Asia, and North America. It is an absolute honor to have this iconic man for the very first time on this stage amongst us. This is really a touching moment. Please offer him all your gratitude and love. He's traveled many a miles to be back in his motherland.
Next, I would like to invite, all the way from Egypt, the President of the National Council for Women, Dr. Maya Morsay. A warm welcome for Dr. Maya Morsay. I think we should let the claps going until they get on stage.
Yes, exactly. And also have you know, Maya has up her sleeve many a things going on. She works closely with the President of Egypt. She is curating the Women Economic Forum in Egypt 2020. She welcomes you. Go Egypt! It's an honor to invite Her Excellency Dr. Fatima Al-Balushi. Okay, she's going to join us in a few moments.
Next, we would like to invite Meenu Bakshi. She's a poet, singer, linguistic, and an author. A big round of applause for Meenu.
A pleasure to invite once again on this stage this lovely lady from Germany, Anne Beging, the co-founder and managing director of the Healing Hotels of the World and the Healing Summit. She's here to also invite you to the Healing Summit happening very, very soon in beautiful Portugal.
Would now like to invite Dr. Kusum Ansal, writer. Kusum Ansal's repertoire comprises novels from India. A big round of applause.
Next, we have somebody very special traveling all the way from Bahrain. It's a pleasure to invite on stage Wahid Mahramfar. Please put your hands together for this celebrated personality, a transformation maker, the brand futurist. Somebody whose eye was caught very, very young by the General Motors USA and Opel of Germany. He's indeed an industrial designer specializing in transportation and product design. Inviting Candice Corby. She'll be joining us just in a few moments. Amish, are you with us again? Yeah, perfect. So in the meantime, inviting the lovely lady from Kyrgyzstan, Ayjan Chenbeva, the president of the Women's Forum called Kunak, the founder of an ecological organization cleaning all the rivers of Kyrgyzstan, and the honorary council of Norway to Kyrgyzstan. An absolute honor.
Do we have Candice Corby in the room here, please? From the United States, Amish Tripathi, who we just heard, and Dr. Anurag Batra. Okay, we will start the inaugural and we will wait for them, and as soon as they come, okay, sure.
You all in this room, I just want to let you know that we're very, very lucky to be here at this moment because something special is going to happen. Something special is always happening, but this is a little bit extra special. Thank you, Vinky. I think you know what I mean. Dr. Harbeen Arora here has made it to the top 100 most reputable people on earth. To be in the likes of, in the league of Prime Minister Modi, Anil Ambani, one of the only 4 Indians to make it to the list, the only Indian woman on the list, ladies and gentlemen. She stands at 21, along with Michelle Obama, along with Oprah Winfrey, she represents the unification and the coming together of women with heart and soul beyond countries, beyond languages, beyond cultures. A true testimony to the fact that we are a sisterhood beyond borders. So I inspire you to stand and throw all the love that your heart allows to this lady, our beacon of light, our beacon of change, of positivity, of love and light. Yes, Harbeen, please, could you cut the cake, please? Are we going to light it? Who's going to light it? Harbeen, if we could request you to please cut this cake, but don't forget to blow the candle.
truly overwhelming. From day before yesterday night when we got the news, and Vinay, my better half, we were sitting on the dinner table, like preparing for the forum, moved in, and he just started rattling off these names, you know, like she said, Michelle Obama, Oprah Winfrey, Prime Minister Modi, Mukesh Ambani, Harbin Arora, and I was like, what are you doing? You know, like, what's come over you? And he says, you've been named in the top 100 list of the most reputable people on earth. I mean, it was like, really like a prasad, you know, in India we say it's a gift from God, a grace of God. And to me, what was truly spectacular was the timing of it. You know, everything in my life is around a number 25. And so for me, this was very special, the 25th Global Edition. I'm born on a 25. There are many magical things that happen in my life around a 25, with a 25. And on the 25th edition, when we have all our sisters from so many countries coming with full of all that we've achieved over the years to celebrate that, and all the excitement and enthusiasm which is set off with events happening just after this in Birmingham, in Australia, in Italy, in Mexico, in Egypt, in Slovenia. I mean, really everywhere. It's going everywhere. And just so that I don't feel, oh, 25, I think I'm done and out, there came a little light from above which says, hey, we are watching what you're doing, we're listening to your hearts, so don't stop. And I think that's the signal I got, that don't stop. And as long as you are there with me, there's no way this wave surging towards the source, like Amish said, is going to stop till we reach it together. So thank you all. As I said, this is and will always be with you, for you, by you. Thank you.
If I could take this opportunity to initiate this very inspiring conversation that's going to be. If I could invite Honorable Lord Swaraj Paul to speak with us and enlighten us with his words and presence. Sir, would you like to sit? Please welcome him. This is truly an honor to have him with us and him sharing his journey with us. Right over here.
Just want to make a little personal introduction to Lord Paul, who is family for me and a legendary leader in his own right. There are offers of people wanting to make his biography. His whole life is so full of insight and wisdom and courage despite the odds. I know he never shares this, but it's a personal request, Lord Paul, if you could share a little about your personal journey, personal challenges. And I know you've felt some of them very deeply from the heart, and I just want you to share it because we all see you as this big leader, and I want people to see you with the heart and humanity that you live your life every day with, and not just as Lord Paul, which you are very respected in the UK, in India, but also as the great human being with a heart of gold and the bravery of, I don't know what, I don't have the words, what you've been through. So just a request, if you could fold in a little bit of your very personal, sometimes painful journey. I know I'm asking for a little lot, but I know that you will share it. So just a request. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Harbin, for such a wonderful introduction. I have never had in my 88 years of life so many beautiful women in front of me. So, let me welcome you first of all to my country, which is India. I am an Indian, born here, and very proud of where I come from. I especially welcome you today, which is the start of of the largest election of any country so far, and is likely to be for the next few decades at least. 900 million people voting is not something which any country will get used to apart from India. And the great thing is, in 70 years of independence, we have had elections every time, and governments have passed from one government to the other. It's a record, and I think we all Indians can be very proud of. Yes, I am British today. Almost about more than, oh my God, time passes. 46 years ago, I had to go to Britain because I had to take a daughter of mine for treatment. I lost her, and I decided to stay in Britain. Whatever I am today, don't listen to what has been said, there's a lot of exaggeration. I owe it to that little girl, and that makes me very specially biased towards women. I started borrowing £5,000, which took me a hell of a long time to be able to persuade the bankers to give me that kind of money. And then it has been a history, but a very long and very interesting history. I always say that that little girl changed my life. Britain has been a great country to me. I was doing an interview with the BBC World Service a few years ago, quite a few years ago. The interviewer was talking to me, and he first started talking about my work in Britain. Then all of a sudden he switched over to India, and then we talked about it. Perhaps he found me equally passionate about India and Britain. So he says, Lord Paul, what percentage you are British and what percentage you are Indian? My answer was, I am 100% British and I am 100% Indian. And if you, my friend, cannot add it together, that's your problem. So since then, in a lot of British circles, I am known as 200%. So if you can't compensate that, then you will have to work it out. Harbeen, let me first start with congratulating you. Oh, where are you?
I'm here.
Okay. Congratulating you,
Thank you.
of what has been announced today.
Thank you.
It's a marvelous achievement, and we are all very proud of you.
Thank you.
When I came to Delhi last week, I saw Harbeen, and she said, Mamaji, you must say something about your journey. Well, ladies and gentlemen, no journey is easy enough. It's only history and what happens make you look brilliant, make you look idiots, make you look this thing. That history decides. It has been a journey which first I owe it to my late parents. I lost them when I was very young. I lost my mother when I was 7, and I lost my father when I was 13. But one thing I learned from my mother. Whenever anybody asked her, "What are your jewels?" her answer was, "My children are my jewels." So, from a 7-year-old daddy, would I be a jewel? Would I be proud of? And that has kept me going. My father, he was a small businessman in a great city of Jalandhar in Punjab. He taught me one thing. Always tell the truth, because you don't have to rehearse it. Thank you. I have tried my best to live up to that. Then I was lucky enough, my older brother and my older sisters, who looked after me. I was studying in India. Then the dream came for me that I would like to go to the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. It's a mouthful, and the reason I am telling you is this, that a speaker went to speak at Yale University, and he said that, "Ladies and gentlemen, I will make my speech and upon the 4 items of Yale. So and so for Y, so and so for F, so for L, so for E." And he was going on and on and on. So somebody from the audience, he says, "Thank God you didn't go to Massachusetts Institute of Technology." So I have no desire to be that low. The MIT told me and taught me one thing: never give up and never accept to be the best. Accept the best. Why I am saying this to you is, you are all very young. Never give up and never accept the best. Then, as I said, I went to Britain with my daughters for treatment, and in those days, they didn't allow the foreign exchange to go for treatment. They gave me finally the permission to take my daughter and my wife, because first they argue only one of the parents can go. I say, I can't manage a 2-year girl, and my wife can't be alone with a 2-year girl. They got the permission. The 2 children, they allowed me, we went there. After about a year, we had other 3 children whom we had never seen. And we were fairly sure that they will never see their little sister again. I asked the Reserve Bank for permission. They said their rules do not allow. I wrote a letter to the late Mrs. Gandhi. Says, Prime Minister, this is my situation. Is government so inhuman that they cannot give the permission? Sure enough, whether she read the letter or not, I don't know, but within a week's of time, the government of India was looking for me to give the children the permission. I have never forgotten about it. Even only in 1978, when Mrs. Gandhi was out of power, we invited her to London, and I was looking after her program. She says, Suraj, you are taking such an opposition or something. What have I done? What can I do for you? I say, no, madam. What you did, I would never tell you. But what I am doing is nothing compared to what you did. She was a great woman. Everybody condemned her in 1977. But there is no prime minister who has made a comeback in the history of the world from that much push down to that much up. I am not talking politics here. I have no politics for India, because you cannot be in politics in one country and be interested in the other. And in all elections, whether it's United States or India or Britain or Europe, it's only the voter who wins, because he gets a chance to elect whom he wants, and long this may remain. I don't want to go along at all, but it has been a wonderful journey, lot of wonderful people, lot of kind people, and the world is full of wonderful people. And that is where I congratulate Harveen that she thought of this to organize this women economic organization, because women all over the history are far more capable than they are giving the credit for. Now maybe I can get back to the agenda of your conference, this one, and the theme of this, because that's what I originally prepared for before I came to Delhi, till Harveen ordered me to say, Mama, you got to say, and having been married 62 years, you get slave anyway. So let me say a word of thanks and express my deep appreciation for Harveen. Chair of this All Ladies League. Her vision and her exemplary leadership have not only helped create the Women's Economic Forum, but continue to be an inspiration for us all. I also admire the WEF and its activities. I had the occasion to address it in London 2 years ago, and it has been becoming more and more active. The way in which the WEF has created and opened worldwide channels and networks is a model for achieving global outreach. If many more NGOs, groups follow your pattern, the potential for improving our world is almost unlimited. When I was reflecting on this evening's program, I realized that the theme of this forum is imaging societies, reclaiming humanity with gender equality, truly speaks to our time. I believe that we are just entering a period in history which will be intensely disturbing and perhaps even uprooting of the world we have grown up in. Politically, we are witnessing a vital competition for global leadership between the most powerful nations on earth. At the same time, new and drastically different economic conditions are being created. The center of global economic gravity is shifting from Western nations to non-Western nations. As this happens, the nature of employment is changing so that many of today's jobs will largely be obsolete. The technological revolution is bringing us artificial intelligence, robotics, and the like. The social revolution is arriving through the social media, and the energy revolution is changing mobility and resource use. Put all of this together and we will have to do exactly what your theme of reimaging society suggests. Let me give you an example. This is the very first time when humans talk to machines, receive replies, and are corrected and guided by machines. So who controls society? Humans, machines, or a combination of two? Reimagination will be the key to our survival as human beings. I hope that your forum and its follow-up will give us some wisdom to cope with this. The second part of your theme, reclaiming humanity with gender equality, is probably even more important. To my mind, the term humanity has two meanings. It suggests an inclusion that many countries have not achieved, an inclusion that embraces women, young people, the disadvantaged, senior citizens, and others who have been partially or totally excluded. Unless we do this, and we do it fast, the division that now troubles societies will multiply and wreck both progress and stability. The other meaning of humanity, as I believe, a betterment of the ways in which we think, our behavior, and our compassion. Of what value is it if we are to reclaim humanity without being more humane? Indeed, maintain that both inclusion and behavior are essential parts of each other. By the nature of its composition, this forum is a very good platform to deliberate these concepts. Of course, the other part of the theme, gender equality, is essential. To many, it is shocking that gender equality has only recently been so recognized. However, it has to be recognized that not only in name, but in fact. For too many men and also women point to a few examples and say we are making progress. Beware of tokenism. Progress is not only in better positions and employments and status, it has to be in attitude and culture. Some people say that religion and tradition are in certain ways responsible for cultural negativism. Coming from my background and I have heard this often, when I look at some of our ancient scriptures and mythologies, I wonder about this. After all, to put it in contemporary terms, in Lord Vishnu's cabinet of universe, the key portfolios were held by women. Let me name them. Minister of Finance was Lakshmi. The Minister of Education was Saraswati. The Minister of Defense was Kali. And the Minister of Energy was Shakti. This cosmology suggests that our traditions, whatever others' message they may send, recognize early the notion of gender advancement. In my own experience, I have seen how change in gender attitude has contributed so much to improving its performance. Gender equality is not simple a cause. It makes complete business sense. How foolish we are to think that the male half of our species is endowed with special capabilities. In the past year or so, the whole gender issue has taken new energy. This is something we must encourage. But we also move to be sure that while the current surge is maintained, that enthusiasm does not drift, and what reckless rushes do not derail society and consistent progress in this context. In this context, I want to stress the importance of education and training. I am Chancellor of the University of Wolverhampton, and I have seen that difference that proactive education has made. We have nurtured this approach with very positive results. All of you, in your own ways, are role and leadership models for other women, and not only for women. In changing global conditions, communities will need more than ever the mature and balanced and gender equality and genders. This is why I am so glad to participate in this inaugural session. I wish your deliberations much success and hope that your message will carry far beyond this forum. May your endeavors be blessed with every success. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to finish with this speech with a story about Lady Thatcher, the former Prime Minister of Britain. Somebody asked her, he says, Mrs. Thatcher, how come we have women prime ministers, we have women so-and-so, we have women so-and-so? How the God is only addressed he? Her answer was, I'll ask her. So, right. Thank you very much. Thank you. Well, have a very pleasant evening, but don't tell my wife that I said so.
Ladies and gentlemen, Honorable Lord Swaraj Paul, what an honor to hear him share his stories. I want to thank you, Lord Paul, for laying open yourself for us to learn from, for us to derive so much inspiration from your insights. Thank you so much for that. Thank you for your presence at this forum. It means the world. Thank you. And when we touch the note of the world, we have with us a slice of Egypt. Please put your hands together to welcome the lady who runs Egypt, Dr. Maya Morsi.
Thank you, everyone. It's very hard to speak after Honorable Paul and with all his wisdom. It's a real pleasure to be talking to all of you today. Strong women delegations coming from all around the world, with a great sister, Dr. Harbin. Thank you very much for everything that you're doing, and thank you for getting and gathering all of us together. Honored to be coming from Egypt, the cradle of civilization, and known as the mother of the world, the gift of the Nile, and the guardian of the past. Egyptian women last week were celebrating 100 years of empowerment in the modern history. But we were there a very long time ago. Nefertari, Cleopatra, the history of civilization, twinned with the history of civilization of India, is Egypt and India together. So you're seeing me and Harbin working together for the future, inshallah. After a big fight of Egyptian women, we're reaching to 15% in the parliament. We were there around 1.9%. 25% of women are in our cabinet right now. We see that we have a great political will of the president of Egypt supporting women from the heart, and we say that this is the true political will. It's not a lip service. It's coming of commitment from the heart of the president to the strategies, to the policies, and we are there as a president of the council or as 25% of the women in the cabinet. We have a strategy that was endorsed by His Excellency with 4 pillars: political participation, decision-making, economic and social protection, with a mainstreaming of legislative reform and ideational change. Good news. Unemployment rate was decreased in Egypt after a lot of stagnation from 24% in 2014 to 19.6% in 2019. 44% of women in government positions, 30% of women investors in the stock market, and we have a group of women business owners in the room right now. If you kindly could stand up for a clap. Thank you. 25% for the first time ever in the board of the central bank, the bureau of the finance in Egypt. 6% increase of women on boards, from 9% to 27% increase in the bank accounts. So the question here, why should we fight for women to be more in the politics, or why should we fight to have more women in businesses? Simply because women can deliver. Women's ability to have a difference is clear. We are the soft power. We are the smart power, and we are the smart economics of the whole globe. Politics is almost everywhere a male-oriented, male-dominated enterprise. There is a way or a theory behind women participation. Is it only a justice argument, or an experience argument, or an interest argument because we're different and presenting a different interest, or a symbolic argument just to be there, or we should be the critical mass in the whole equation, or it's a democratic argument? My answer is that it is power. We have the power. We have to be there. Power will never be given to you. You have to be the corridor of influence. And with others, as we are here today, and with your power, we have the power of presence that can change the whole world. Real equality does not mean valuing women or men on different terms. It should be equally respected. The choice for women change our workplaces, politics, and culture. This is a question that we keep on thinking. And we're told, if family comes first, does this mean that your political work or your business work comes second? The answer is no. This doesn't mean our work comes the second. Work, family goes together. A successful woman is also a successful mother, whether she is in politics or she is a businesswoman. Women's equal participation in decision-making and politics is not only a demand for simple justice or democracy, but necessary precondition for women's interest to be taken into account. Power is a number, so we have to come strongly together. We have to be the powerhouse. Power is in involvement, power in characteristics. We're less aggressive, more multitaskers, more people-oriented, more collaborative, more international and interactional, and more supportive, and also more participatory. Power in our presence should be respected by everyone. We are the corridor of influence. Investing in women and girls translates to broader social and economic impact, an approach referred, as I said, smart economics, double dividend of gender equality, efficiency approach to women in development. A strong woman, as you are all, is a woman determined to do something, others determined not to do. Lead your own life, have your own choice, believe in your strength. We have all the windows of opportunities, but we have to take them. Teach girls bravery, not perfection. We are raising our girls to be perfect and our boys to be brave. Teach your girls to be brave as well. Breaking the glass ceiling is something that we're keeping on repeating. I think with the powerhouse we have right now, we have to smash the glass ceiling. We have to reach to the top position in the whole world. Honorable Paul, and Your Excellency, this strategy is to leverage the power of men. If we have the men supporting us, and good men as you, we're going to climb the ladder faster. Make it your business. Proactively focus on your pipeline. Hold your leaders and managers accountable. And I would last say the 7 qualities of women leaders, and I want you to keep on thinking which qualities you have and which qualities you don't. No one has the 7 qualities. Perseverance, a nurturing spirit, confidence, giving back is a must in your soul, education, balanced understanding with mentoring, and you have to have mentors to follow, and vision. If you have 4 out of the 7, you are a great woman leader. Looking forward to have you all in Egypt 2020. History and a great civilization. A beautiful scenery by the Nile is calling you. Egypt is calling you, welcoming you all in Egypt next time. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. More. I think you said it beautifully. I mean, there's 2 things that I've been hearing in the opening statement of our conference this morning and the closing, that we need more women in politics, and that is just the way how India or any other country wants to run like right now. And with your leadership and with Harbeen's leadership and so many other leaderships that are here, I think we're going to see a change. There's so many men that are actually backing us up at this time. Good men with, just the perseverance that you were saying that we're going to be able to see in the future. And I think everybody's going to be in Egypt next year with you. So thank you again for being with us and being a leader that you are. A big round of applause. Next, I would like to call upon Amish Tripathi, best-selling Indian author of novels. We heard him earlier, and we would like him to delight us a little bit more with his humor, with his sense of style, how he speaks. You have a great energy, so welcome, sir. Amish Tripathi, a big round of applause.
I got to admit, you have me at a bit of a loss because I just had a half-an-hour program. So I'm going to go extempore because I didn't have a speech prepared. And the subject I was just told to speak about, reclaiming humanity with gender equality. And there's an interesting thread that we ended my last interaction on why is it that the status of women, and it was certainly much higher in many ancient cultures, why is it that it has come down in many societies? And I have some theories, and I'm sure all of us can have various theories on it. But I think rather than getting into a mindset of where society went wrong over the last millennium, and where in many societies across the world, the status of women, I mean the goddess worshipping cultures, the tendency to look at women as equal to men in all respects in society, it has come down. I think it's probably more productive, rather than wasting time on where things went wrong in the last millennium. It's more productive to look at examples from the past which can inspire us to revive an ancient tradition where men and women were seen as equal. I quoted a wonderful line that is there in Indian scriptures. An ancient scripture of ours says that the gods abandon the land where women are not respected. An ancient scripture of ours, has this wonderful line that Purush napunsak nari va jeeva charachar koi sarva bhav vaja kapat taji mohi param priya soi. You smiled on that, so I guess you recognized which scripture this is from. It's a wonderful line which says that any man, any woman, any transgender, any living being, any plant, any animal, if you give up deceit and you love each other and you come to me, you are my people. It's a wonderful emotion, a wonderful thought of equality, of looking not just at men and women as equal, but looking at transgenders as equal as well. And any guesses on which god said this line? It's an Indian scripture, so that gives you a clue. Any guesses which god said this line? I'll not expect the non-Indians to guess this, but anyone wants to guess which Indian god? Any Indian wants to guess? No, Lord Krishna is the usual guess for this, but no, that's not true. No, not Lord Shiva, but yeah, he's the dude of the gods. I don't deny that. Lord Vishnu in his avatar is Lord Ram. Lord Ram said this. Now think about it. If we actually go into our scriptures and find wonderful examples like this and use them to inspire a movement towards equality, the impact that we can have. And this is not just the duty of Indian liberals. I believe this is the duty of liberals across the world. I think one of the mistakes that those of us who are liberal, who like to fight for the equality between men, women and transgenders, I think perhaps one of the mistakes we make is that we keep attacking traditions. And what that does is it often leads to a counter reaction, where people hold on to traditions even more viscerally, and sometimes the conservative aspects of it. What we should try and do is find a marriage between the liberal parts of our traditions and use them to give a positive message today. This is something I try and do with our Indian traditions, and I would strongly suggest that liberals across the world should take up this challenge. So if you're in the Middle East, use ancient Islamic traditions. I quoted an example of Lady Khadija, who was Prophet Muhammad's wife, and she was a businesswoman. And if I'm not mistaken, Prophet Muhammad was actually her employee. Now this is a wonderful example. This should be spoken of by Muslim liberals. Use this to fight for the cause of equality between men and women. Christian examples, Jewish examples, I'm sure there are examples like this in our tradition. That's a thought I want to leave with you, that if we can find those positive liberal messages in our traditions and use them to give a liberal message today, the chances of success are far higher than us just attacking traditions repeatedly, because what that does is a large portion of society then just goes into a conservative defensive mechanism, and that's not positive. That's the vision I work with on the work that I do, and that's the thought I want to leave with you guys as well. So completely extempore, I've got some thoughts across, at least hopefully. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your spontaneity. It's you have a gift. You're a man of profound wisdom. I saw so many of us like taking notes, and you know, when we really had that intimate conversation with you, it was like a film in words. Really was beautiful. You have this gift of taking people, on a journey through your words. Thank you. Thank you so much. an Indian publishing phenomena, Amrish Tripathi. It's been a pleasure to spend time with you. Following him, we have a very special lady of multiple talents. She's a poet, a singer, a linguist, and an author. I invite Meenu Bakshi to please share her enchanting journey.
Thank you, Women Economic Forum. Thank you, Dr. Harbeen Arora. I'm humbled. In fact, I'm wondering why I am here. I was told that I had to share my story, and last night, for the first time, I started going back, thinking about my journey, and I was wondering, what is it? How have I gotten here? I was amongst the 6 siblings, born in a Sikh conservative business family. We have no professor, no singer, no linguist, no teacher, nobody in the family, nothing that I could follow. So how did I really get here? So last night I was thinking, because I knew I had to come and talk here, and I went through my journey. And I realized that for me, I always thought I could do what I loved to do. I never thought it could be any other way. I never thought about the gender, you're a woman or a man. I didn't think. My family was, of course, conservative. My first battle came across when I was in college, and I heard a concert of the living, or the legend of music, Begum Akhtar. Now, I had a voice, I had inherited a voice. I used to sing at home, at parties, etc., like a bathroom singer, but I had a good voice. I heard, and it was the Beatle era. You have to see my story 40 years behind. We were not in today's India. We were 40 years before this. So I'm going back to the 70s when I tell you my story. So it kind of shifts the light of how you see my life. So I came home, I heard there was this concert, I heard Begum Akhtar sing, and I was mesmerized. I was taken over, almost obsessed. I came home and I said, this is what I want to do, and I want to learn music. And my mother said, are you crazy? Respectable women don't sing like this. This is a courtesan's thing. This is not nobody is going to marry you. So we'll see when it comes. Right now, I'd like to do it. So my father, because he had a voice, kind of understood and said, no, let's let her do. So I started singing. Now with singing, I realized I needed to know Urdu, because all the poetry that was sung at that time was in Urdu. And so I was doing, and also another story that I need to tell you is I went to college to study Spanish, because in the 70s, if you didn't get married and you'd finish your the basic education, you needed to keep doing something till somebody came and asked for your hand. So either you did sewing or you did cooking, and these were not the things I did. So I had started studying Spanish. So that is how my Spanish came as a time passed till I got married. So once I was doing that, I got into this music. From music, I got into the Urdu language. And then came a proposal for marriage for me. My husband, who's here, is right here. So he came, and when we met, see, it's an arranged marriage, so you get 1 or 2 meetings to just talk to each other. So I went and I said, my parents decided that you are good for me. I'm sure they've seen your finances and everything, but I have 2 conditions. And I was 18. So he said, what are they? I said, look, I'm studying Spanish. I'd like to continue. I'm learning music, and I'd like to continue. If you're good with that, it's a yes. So that's how he said, okay, go ahead. You can do both the things. So that was the first test passed. I got married. But God, it was hard work. I used to wake up at 5 in the morning, do my riyaz, go to college from 9 to 4, come back. Then the ustadji used to come, have another hour of training, then had to please my mother-in-law. Was not good at the household stuff, but anyway, they let it pass. And then once if the whole household was asleep, I'd have to do my homework. So I was working 18 hours a day. But it didn't feel, because I just loved what I was doing. So if you find and do what you love and love what you do, there is no pain. It comes very easily. You make everything possible to do that. So the first thing I realized was that we need to live our passions. Just wanting something is not enough. You need to want it really bad. You really want to have a burning desire, burning passion, then your journey becomes that much easier. My next step was, a year later, I was pregnant. I was going to have a baby. I was in the 3rd year. And I went to the university, full-term pregnant, till the day of my delivery. And everybody says, she's mad. But I said, who made the rules? I feel good. I can walk. I can understand. So everybody looks at me curiously. Well, that I was quite still a girl coming with such a big, full-term pregnancy. I went. I delivered my baby through my exams. I did half my exam before, half after, like within the period of 15 days, and so got my degree. But I have to say in all this, the support of your husband and your family is very, very important. Now that bridge having crossed, I finished my master's, I finished my MPhil, I was naturally good at it, and I worked hard at it. And then I got a scholarship to go to Spain. So now I've done my MPhil. How do you get good at a language till you've actually been to the country, the native country where it's spoken? So I needed to go. And of course there was one big story of how to go and how to leave the child behind, but I did. I left my 3-year-old son behind with my mother and father-in-law and my husband, and I made that journey that even in Spain 45 years ago they thought, oh my God, they must be crazy, they let you go, leaving a son behind. But yes. So if you want enough, you want it bad enough, again you go, and everybody else seems to help you to do that. So that was the second most important thing. Then now came my journey of poet. I used to dabble, I used to write some poetry, but not really thinking about it as a poet. Would put some strips of paper, anywhere I felt I needed to write, I wrote. Then about 10 years ago, my dad-in-law was ill. I was in the hospital for 3-4 hours every day outside the ICU, just doing nothing, just waiting. That's when I rekindled my love for poetry, and I started writing, and then I compiled my poetry book, and that restarted my life of a poet. Singing commercially came to me because my kids got married and I made some songs for them, and that happened, and it just became successful. So everything came to me in spurts, but it did get to me. So now, what is it that I think you can't stop dreaming? So when you dream, there's something you need to pursue. When you pursue, there's something you achieve. So my thing would be that everybody, please don't stop dreaming. It is the most important thing, and conviction, because conviction gives you strength. If you are convinced, if you have conviction, you are strong enough to fight all your battles. And also when you say, there's no time, I'm thinking about doing it, but there's never time like that. You can't just be thinking, you need to get up and get it. That's the only way to do, because today is your day, tomorrow, there is no tomorrow. This is your chance, this is your life. So that I think that everybody should, and the more you have, the busier you are, the more time you make. It's quite well known that if you have many things to do, you end up doing them all. And if you have nothing to do, you end up doing you always say, oh, I didn't have the time. So that, I do work 18 hours a day. I sleep little, I write at night, I have the university, I practice singing, but I'm able to do it because I love everything that I do. I love people, I love life. So if you want to get ahead, you need to love what you do, and you need to do what you love. And that, I think, is what, and somebody asked me, what is it that you need now? What is it that you would want? I want more hours in the day, and I want more men like my husband who let me follow my dreams and my passion. So just one little, I would like to describe a woman, and it is, she dances with the spirit of the sun. She loves with the strength of wild water. She moves with the moods of the moon. She creates with the will of the winds. She is magic. She is a woman. She is you. All of you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
We're not letting you go till you sing a song in 5 languages. She sings in 5 languages.
The way you flow from language to language.
Oh my God. This is... okay, so I'll sing you a line each from... So I'll begin with the Urdu and I'll sing a ghazal, which just a line which I guess everybody, or at least all the Indians who are here will know. This is from Farida Khanum, Jaane ki zid na karo. Oops, it's a bit strange, but wow. Hai mar jayenge, hum to lut jayenge. ऐसी बातें किया न करो आज जाने की जिद न करो यूं ही पहलू में बैठे रहो आज जाने की जिद न करो I'll sing you one line from a Reshma Punjabi number. रब नहीं लगदा दिल मेरा नहीं लगदा दिल मेरा हाय ओ रब्बा नहीं लगदा दिल मेरा सजना बाज होया हनरा हाय ओ रब्बा नहीं लगदा दिल मेरा. And one last, I'll sing you one line of Bésame Mucho, which I guess most of you would know in Spanish. Bésame, bésame mucho, como si fuera esta noche la última vez. Bésame, bésame mucho, que tengo miedo perderte, perderte después. Quiero tenerte en mis brazos, mirarme en tus ojos, estar junto a ti. Pienso que tal vez mañana voy a estar muy lejos de aquí. Bésame. Thank you very much.
You are absolutely mesmerizing. Wow. A big round of applause for Meenu Bakshi. I don't think I need to say any words. I think you've said it all yourself. Thank you, Meenu. Thank you so, so much. Next, I would like to invite Annie Bigging up on the stage. She's the co-founder and managing director of Healing Hotels of the World. Welcome, Annie.
Thank you. Wow, I wish I could sing like...
you can try.
Beautiful.
Would you like to try?
Yes. Okay, I'll do that. My daughter said, Mom, you're not going to sing. Yes, I sing. Okay, I sing. This day is a golden day. This day is a golden day. It feels like clouds of nectar are showering down on me. I have seen my Lord, and so on. This is actually from India.
Amazing.
Okay, listen guys, I'm German, but what do I do every day? This is my Bible. And I'm not religious, but I'm a yogi. It comes back to your point. I really, as a businesswoman all my life, I was a journalist and so on, many things in my age. You have done many things. I have always tried to find the truth in whatever I was doing. And that's also the basis for creating this hotel brand and creating the Healing Summit. And I found, I wake up in the morning and I look into the Upanishads, Patanjali, but mostly this. And I look sometimes for one word, because I think, how on earth am I doing this business? It's not easy. It's challenging. How do I live my life? As someone being on a yogic path, living in Germany, traveling all around the world, trying to convince people about what we are doing, which we call healing. And what is that? So I pick up the book and or another book, I randomly open it up and find one word. And there is that teaching I need for that day. And it always works, because what does it? It brings me back to my heart and to my soul. Because my mind cannot help me anymore. It's gone. It has overworked. And I don't think I'm crazy. I align my dreams with my hopefully good actions. But the inspiration is deeper, and I think I want to thank all of you from all over the world here, but especially my friends from India, because in the last 27 years I travel here at least once a year. If I don't come, I'm crying. Because I'm at home, here. I understand your language because I chant a lot in Sanskrit. I don't understand, but I understand on a certain level. So this is a blessing. This is like a warm bath. Thank you, Harbin. And if there's one thing I want to tell you about women and men, I truly believe I'm a mother. I was married and I'm married again, and I don't see myself as a woman or a man. I'm a person. I am someone running around this planet Earth. I don't like to look into the differences. And I know there are terrible things happening in the world to women. I've been there, believe me. And it took a life of healing to get out of that drama. And I still think human beings are human beings. We come from, as Deepak Chopra said this morning, stardust. We're all the same. We have a little bit of a different job to do. You bring the semen, we bring the eggs. Excuse me, I hope this is okay to say that here culturally. And we have babies, right? We have the work to do, but we are souls. And I don't want to widen the gap. My dream is that we are together. We can heal together. I don't want to have a man behind me. I don't want to have a woman behind me. I want to be with one another. I want to look. I developed something I just learned from someone special. Looking into your own eyes in the morning and ask yourself, what is the truth? And not into my face and thinking, okay, oh my God, I'm getting older. No, into my eyes and ask myself, what is my truth? And if I do that, if I remember to do that, I feel that I'm a soul. And then I go into my office or get on the plane or go to conferences or deal with clients and negotiate with people from all over the world about business things. I try to remember that moment when I looked into my own eyes and saw a soul. I look into this person's eyes, if I remember, and see a soul. And the energy shifts. And I'm trying to give this into the creation of healing hotels of the world, because people who come to these hotels, they seek something which is not wellness, but it is which is healing, and that comes from the spirit, from the soul. And you would be wondering, what is the biggest trend in travel tourism? It's spirituality. You got it all, so you have it. And Healing Hotels of the World was born in India at the Ananda in Himalayas. When we were there, we thought this can happen. I've been in tourism for so many years, always consulted governments and hoteliers on their journey to success, and I was sick and tired of hearing ministers, forgive me, telling me this is not enough, right? And I thought, no, it's not enough, you're right. I quit it. we changed our company's philosophy. It was not enough for me because we were not living our purpose. The purpose for me was always to, what I could learn on my own healing journey, to bring that into the world, to convince hoteliers to move up the work from just giving wellness treatments to holistic approaches, seeing people as human, as sacred beings. I totally believe in this. Do I have to go? Yeah? Please let me know, because I have no sense of time. I'm an Aquarius. That means maybe answers a little bit. That's my message for you, is if there's anything I can say, so many beautiful things have been said here today. I believe in unity. I love men, I love women, I love people, and I think there is one way. Also, I believe, to your point, we have become a very long way. I don't believe the world is getting worse. I believe the world is getting much better by the day, because, yes, people are waking up. People are waking up. We become more spiritual. 10 years ago, I couldn't say I'm a yogi in a conference. They would have said, yeah. Today, I can. I introduce myself as saying, I'm a yogi. And this is fantastic. And I think also we are refining the word success, because again, I'm an economist. That's what I studied, business. So what is success? How do we define success today? We have to refine the word of purpose, of all of these buzzwords right now. There's purpose, there's mindfulness, everybody goes this blah, blah, but we have to refine that. Going to the truth of who we are, sacred beings here. And from there, creating good businesses, creating holistic businesses, giving back from the moment we start this thing. This is, I think, also the purpose why we create the Healing Summit, which is a conference in Portugal, which my friend Harbin promoted so nicely to all of you. And I want to invite you, if you still have time, 6th and 7th of May, where the world comes together, only 150 people from all over the world coming together. It's not a think tank, it's a feeling. It's a discussing, like here. We work with one another. We bring our ideas, men and women, from 6 continents. And the theme is take a quantum leap. The quantum leap I understand the quantum leap as something which happens in the heart. My quantum leap was when I understood that my mind is not the one who has to make the decision. When I moved into my heart and I could feel the wisdom from inside, that was my quantum leap. And I try more and more to trust that wisdom in my heart. And that's the quantum leap we need to take also in the politics, in business, in everything. And then artificial intelligence will be fantastic. It will support us. It will do the work we don't have to do. And we continue to be human. To be human and be with one another, love one another. I like to say that in India, I can say this, yes. Because love one another, be with one another, and just make this world a better place. It's already great, especially here today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anne. So what happens when people open their hearts? Healing happens. Healing hotels of the world happen. Summits like this happen. Days like this happen. Lists like 100 most reputable people on earth happen. Magic happens. That's all it takes for us to just break our hearts open. So thank you, Anne, for taking us through that. Thank you. It's my pleasure to invite our next speaker, Dr. Kusum Ansal, a prolific writer whose repertoire comprises of novels, short stories, poems, travelogues. Her work's also been converted into a film. It's an honor, please.
Thank you.
Good evening, friends, distinguished guests, Swaraj Palji, my friend Harbin, and of course, beautiful audience. Thank you very much for inviting me to be a part of this prestigious Women Economic Forum and considering me a part of it. As far as my story goes, friends, I have been writing from last 35 years and published about 32 books, and if I count translations, it becomes 60 or 70 something. I write in Hindi, English and Punjabi as well. So whenever and wherever I stand as a writer, people ask me with mixed emotions and curiosity why I write, when I write and how I write and what do I gain from my writing. So friends, along with the reality of my being of my life, first I'll share why I write. There is a beautiful poem, when the day is dark and dreary and the way is hard to find, don't let heart be weary. Just keep this thought in mind, it's better to light just one candle than to stumble in the dark. Better for that you light just one little candle, all you need is a tiny spark. Yes, to achieve anything in life, you only need a stimulating tiny spark. Let me admit that there always has been, and even today, there is a strange compulsive desire thumping in my heart which keeps me uncomfortable and sometimes does not allow me to sleep. Yes, that irresistible desire makes me write. Our life is full of experiences. All of us are born to live and experience life. I was lucky enough to be born in an affluent family of Aligarh. I grew up with a rich cultural atmosphere. On one side, the family started their day with Havan mantras, strong Arya Samaji rituals, and also there was a huge library of rare classics, books in Hindi, English, and many other languages. We were exposed to classical music, Kavi Sammelans, Urdu Mushairas, and other cultural activities. Many performances happened in our own drawing room. I remember hearing Madhushala from Harvansh Rai Bachchanji in his own voice, Heer from Asa Singh Mastana, Ghazals from Talat Mahmud. When I was barely 15, 16, all this happened in our house in Aligarh. All that left a deep impact on my consciousness, which is still alive. But for me, my childhood was not the same. I lived in a grave emotional poverty as I lost my mother when I was barely a year old. My Bua, my father's elder sister, adopted me, which changed my identity, neglect, those scars. I grew up with an inferiority complex, and those scars are still in my heart. In my loneliness, books were my only friends. During the studies of Masters of Psychology, I came across a book, The Diary of Anne Frank, which became my spark. It aroused many restless questions in my heart. They made me think who I am, what is the purpose of my existence. In my search, I started living a secret life where my real motive was to know the truth of my real being. Gradually, I learned to explore awareness, imaginations within my own conscience, which I shared in the form of writing poems and short stories, and wrote even 3 novels before I got married. My writing turned my emotional denial into acceptance and my inner chaos in order. After my marriage, with trembling feet, I entered a large joint family where responsibilities were larger than dreams, trying hard to resist the cultural shock because my bringing up was different. The illusions were disturbing my equilibrium. As a result, I was engulfed in a suffocating pessimism. I could not live a life of an ordinary housewife. As Hans Andersen said, just living is not enough. One must have a sunshine, freedom, and a little flower. One day, a sunshine guided me to IPTA, Indian People's Theatrical Society, where they were rehearsing a play, Ghalib. Ghalib was my all-time favorite. They offered me the leading role. Before I could say I'm a mother of 3 children, I'm fat and all that, they took me as if I belonged to them and I was always there. I felt miraculously comfortable, rather it soothed my nerves. It was my new avatar. I got transformed from housewife to an actor, which added meaning to my life and restored some confidence and sense of pride. I acted for almost 2 years for that play, which assisted me to a lighthouse, my future as a writer. I rewrote my college time novels and got them published, wrote short stories, poems, and got published in many magazines. My novel, Ek Aur Panchvati, immediately became bestseller and was translated in many, many languages. In the meantime, I wrote 3 television serials also, but when late Bashu Bhattacharya picked up my novel to make the film, it was a moment of great pride for me. The actors like Deepti Naval, Suresh Ubroy, Akbar Khan rehearsed. I could not believe my eyes. The characters which I created on a paper had come alive. I trembled with excitement and joy. It was an experience of deep human connection beyond senses, a joy which cannot be defined. So friends, I write for that joy. My other books, Tapsi, The Widow Vrindavan, Beyond Silence, I Am Seeker, The Bench, and few more are result of my nomadic journey as a writer. In 2010, I launched my novel Beyond Silence in Cape Town during celebrations of 150 years of Indians on that soil, and also received IBEC International Women's Achievers Award there. It was indeed a thrilling experience of my life, which enriched my being. That is what is my gain out of my writing. In the year 2001, my life propelled me in a very different direction. It was a very important turning point of my life when I was selected to become National President of FLO. FLO is Ladies Wing of Federation Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, FICCI. It was another milestone of my life journey. My role was very challenging and overindulging. FLO became another exploration of self-realization. It helped me to complete my unfinished identity. It helped me to become real me as I am. Well, friends, writing is a never-ending voyage in which every writer moves with its own natural pace and perseverance and confidence to achieve unknown goal. The unknown goal or discovery of my fascination, senses of achievement provide me with an inner satisfaction, a fulfillment that I have not wasted my life. But writing is a very private affair, a very lonely and meditative hobby. ये आग का दरिया है और डूब के जाना है और मैं यहाँ तक डूबी हूँ.
Thank you, Dr. Kusumanso. I think writing is one of the most beautiful things, and me working as an artist, I can appreciate so much more because writers can paint such an amazing picture that sometimes regular people don't have words to express. So thank you for writing for such a long time, and best wishes to all the projects that you're working on at this moment. A big round of applause for Dr. Kusumanso. Next, I would like to invite Mr. Wahid Mehrinfar, the transformation maker, the brand futurist, who is passionate about cars, whose sketches in the early age captured his attention and by the administration of General Motors. Sir?
I'd like this.
That's great. A big round of applause, sir. Welcome.
Hello. Hello. Congratulations first. Nice meeting you finally. Thank you. Well, yeah, do it so that, because I'm already, right, not very, but tall. Do you know why I have these? Yes or no? Because it looks cool. After coming up here and listening to individuals with such merits, I really have no idea why people invite me. Now, that's one issue. The second issue is that, as it is, I get nervous talking to people, and I've done many, many talks. But every time I guess, obviously get nervous. But somehow I fake it. But today, Dr. Arora, because of this panel, and because all women, I'm really nervous. That's why I took my glasses off, so I cannot see your eyes. I think the reason I'm here is because also, I must say, Your Honor, I'm not an Indian, first of all. I can't sing. Actually, I sing well, but I'm not a singer. I was a failure in academics. And I'm basically a survivalist. But I thought I knew it, and I knew how to survive until I was invited to this thing, actually last year, but unfortunately I couldn't come. And when I came, and I had to obviously get a little acquainted about the matters of women, boy, I'll tell you what I felt really. Because I did a little study online, and of course I have my own intuition. I'm not going to speak about me too much, but I think it's important for you to know a little bit of background, what brings me here. I was probably dyslexic at school, in a terrible education system back in the 70s in Iran, 60s and 70s. I grew up in an environment that if you were an artist, you were doomed. So they used to beat my hands because I wouldn't do homework. But before I tell you that story, I want to say something about why I said I'm not an Indian. I love India, and I've been here many, many times. India is incredible. But I tell you why I said I'm not an Indian. Well, I can't be. But I've said this before on stage. But if Hindus are right, this nation, majority, and we are reincarnated, I like to come back as an Indian. But there is a catch. Damn it, I better be Shah Rukh Khan. Because don't put me somewhere I have to start all over again, because it was very painful. I make it short. I was a failure at school, but highly talented. It was obvious. My IQ was very high. I know that because finally I had to get to a technical school, which was very, very difficult. 8,000 entries for a test. By 4 weeks of review with a compassionate teacher at age 15, I made the 4th place in the nation. They really thought there was a mistake. But it showed that how compassion really works. And the subject really is pretty broad. I mean, we can go on and talk about different things, and I like to use myself for a little bit of inspiration. At age 13, my designs and my ability to conceptualize cars and 3D and all that, we're talking about 69, 71, something like that. General Motor of America and Opel of Germany saw my sketches through my brother who was studying in the United States. The rest is history. I made it to the top school, which is the Harvard of Design, and I still was the worst student. But I got out, and I made the money that one graduate, talented graduate, would make in 1 year. I would make it in 1 week, sometimes. So I made my first million at the age probably 22, 23. So I referred to that individual, one of the honorable speakers, who said that you gotta believe in what you gotta believe. And I went on to work with the heads of states, some of the biggest people, Fortune 500 in America, because I grew up in states from age 16. But none of that mattered, and I was very successful up to age 30 in America, celebrity, but we didn't have social media, but people knew me, and I was a celebrated artist, commercial artist, highest paid and second best in the world in that particular expertise. Now I come to the point. You want to know how the role of woman has been important in my life? Besides the love that I had from my mom, obviously, I meet a girl at the peak of my career, and for love, I close it all and I fly to another country called Bahrain. I literally put a fire under my wealth and my success. Proud father of two, brilliant two boys, and I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I have felt love. And in my case, that love can only come from women. So my other message to you is, guys, whatever you want to do, see, I'm not academic. I can't tell you this. Conferences will go on, thanks to people like Dr. Aurora. Congratulations, really. But I can tell you there are people like me who have advised leaders. And I do it quietly. I'm not on social media. And all of that happened because a few things lined up for me. Persistence, of course, is always there. But I think somebody up there likes me or doesn't like me, wants me to go through this. And all the deficiencies that I had through my career or through my life, he gave it to me through persistence, lots of passion, incredibly strong. And of course, precision. You give a man or a woman a job, better do it right. Now I'm gonna, with that background, by the way, Michael Jackson was my client in '84. Mr. Donald Trump, his company, I don't agree with him, but his company at age 25, he doesn't know, but I did 3 jobs for him. His company was my client. Very well known. With all that background and experience with the higher echelon and heads of states, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, I'm going to make a comment about what I think about the struggle of women for equality. You see all of this? I was kidding, but there's a lot of stuff in there that is very, very, very inspirational. But you can't come in and refer to them. I don't know how people do it. So I know them. A friend there said, well, what are you going to say? I said, this is what I'm going to say. I came up here saying that what am I going to talk about women? You know, I'm not qualified. But then I said, wait a minute. It dawned on me, let's look at women. Let's think about their issues, their struggle, and never had to really focus on that. And it dawned on me that the only way I can do that is for the first time in my life, really try to, since I'm so strong in visualization, conceptualization, and transformation, and you don't want to know what that is because I really do it, by the way. I said, you're going to have to put yourself in place of a woman and see what their concerns are. And then I started reading. My God, it's pitiful that we're in 21st century, a woman, which is the only partner we have, has to fight and get together like this for the agenda. And as a futurist, and somebody who's helped many companies write big strategies and make billions of dollars, I said, what would you do? The first thing I thought was, I have to put myself in their place and really feel. Sure, there are weaknesses, there are sensitivities, etc. There is a difference. Only if you're a real man, you can do that. And I did that in this trip. So the real men have to start seeing that. And my suggestion to you is this. If it was up to Vahid, who does this magic stuff with futurity, sometimes it gives you blood pressure. It does, actually, because you transcend to other levels, and this was from childhood, hence compensating for lack of academic ability. I honestly think if it was up to me and I was to advise women in my career with what I know and what I've done, I would state that you're really doing a lot of beautiful work. Look at this. And you're trying to catch up. Ladies, that's good. You have to do that. Even men have to do that. But that's only part of the fight. If I was on a panel and I was putting a strategic futurity as planning, I would say, hell, write your own agenda and go after that one. A catch-up is grinding you. Of course, we have wonderful people that are sitting in front of you, all of you, do that. But there's got to be a think tank somewhere that says, you know what, I'm going to change the perception. It's like the boxing game. How do you think a boxer loses? Eventually, psychologically, he gets overwhelmed or she gets overwhelmed. So overwhelm your environment. I will conclude by saying it's a wonderful trip for me because I just discovered how much more I loved my mom who's passed and how much more I love all the women in my life, past and now, and how I really need to pay a little more attention. So I didn't have some fancy academic words for you. But as an artist who can paint like hell as well and concepts and everything, and I've seen the horizon. And I've been down many times. As a matter of fact, I had to reinvent myself 4 times. And at age 63, I am reinventing myself again. So I decided after 30 years, all those artistic things that God has given me, which I haven't shown anybody, this is an endeavor. After 30 years, I'm going to do it for my first art show. I had them all locked up and I wouldn't show it to anybody. Ladies and gentlemen, I can go on, but I'm not going to. And if I offended anybody, I'm so sorry. But if I inspired you, there's a lot more. And it's an incredible feeling to stand next to these people. I know where my weakness is. I'm not an academic, I don't know. By the way, Egypt, Dr. Maya, City Stars, Heliopolis, Cairo. For 3.5 years, I was the main advisor to 2 big investors from Saudi. I used to go to your country every month, once or twice. Wonderful people, wonderful culture. And as a Persian who grew up in the States and is now in Bahrain, and he lives 3 different places, including sometimes to Tehran, I can tell you that they deserve all what they say about them. It's wonderful to go to your country, and of course, India. Thank you very much.
Thank you indeed, Wahid. It was wonderful to hear you speak, have you share your journey, take us to the beautiful land of the Persian Gulf. You are a radical visionary and a leader for all times to come. It was a pleasure for us to hear you speak. Thank you. I'd like to invite the lovely lady coming all the way from USA. Oh, no. Yes, no, I was going to invite Candice. Yes, you're Kyrgyzstan. Oh, if you flip the coin, yes. Candice. Candice is the CEO of Cobra Legal Solutions, a much celebrated woman and a recipient of multiple awards, adorning a gorgeous sari. You're fitting right in. We welcome you.
Well, gosh, it's amazing to be here, I have to say, with this incredible panel, all of you out there. I have to say, I got to give you a little bit of background from me and where I come from. I, too, am the youngest of 6 children. But I grew up extremely poor. So I was the youngest of 6 kids. We lived, at a mobile home on a dirt road. But my mom and dad raised some really energetic folks, and my parents never said, oh, your brother can do this and you can't. They were very much behind us. My dad always said I could do anything I wanted to be. I could be anything I wanted to be. And so I'm here to tell you that if I am any testament to that, that's the truth. So my dad was right. Going from sort of the rags to riches, being that little girl that was on the dirt road, And then today, being the CEO of a global company, I did it, right? I did it. So the reality is, I wasn't a boy or a girl. My gender wasn't the issue. I was my dad's daughter and my mom's daughter and my brother and sister's sister, and all of you are my sisters and brothers. So I keep getting emails that say, you know, dear soul sister, and I have to tell you, every time I read those emails, I'm so inspired, I'm so excited. So I love being soul sisters. And I want to tell you a quick story about a weekend I tried to get out of. And so there's some very lovely ladies in this audience right now. So a big shout out to the Empowering a Billion Women by 2020 group. So I was invited by a good friend of mine, Ingrid Vandervelde, to go out to California for a weekend called the Billionaire Women's Weekend. Well, at first, I didn't really do my research, and I didn't know what this was going to be about, right? So I'm like, I don't want to just go sit around with people and talk about money. I was like, what is that? Well, that was not the deal at all. What it meant was changing the idea of what a billionaire is. And you'll hear a lot more about this on Sunday at our panel. But it's, what does a billionaire look like? Well, that's he or she who can affect 1 billion lives. So you can empower 1 billion women. Well, we are setting the stage, and we are actually going to achieve this goal of empowering 1 billion women by 2020. And all of you are a part of that. So I'm here, I'm honored to be representing my country, the United States of America, representing my alma mater, the University of Little Rock, Arkansas at Little Rock, my company, Cobra Legal Solutions. I have 2 of my folks with me, one from the United States, Kendra Smith, one from my office who runs our Indian office in Chennai, Shaktival Venkatraman. But they're here with me today, but they're also part of that. So what we're doing together is we're empowering those 1 billion women. Well, a little bit about my company is we're 80% women worldwide. The average age is 28. That's a lot of young gals. Guess what? That's a lot of young mothers. Okay? So think about that. So what are the obstacles? We always say that, well, when you get married, sometimes you quit the workforce, you go and live with your husband or whatever the case may be. Or you have a child, and then all of a sudden you stay home and you then become the mom for your rest of your career. Or then maybe you come back to the workforce or whatever. Well, we do everything we can to make sure that those ladies have a choice. Do they want to stay in the workforce after they get married? If they do, they have a place to do that at Cobra. If they want to stay in the workforce and be a lawyer and a mother at the same time, we give them the opportunity and a place to do that at Cobra. What we do is we offer an opportunity, a choice. That's empowerment. So what I'm here to tell you is that if I can be any bit of an inspiration, a light to anybody, a light to the world that says it can be done, it is being done, and we'll do it together, that's what I would like to do. So there's a handful of people that I want to really thank from my journey perspective. And you know, some of you have heard this before. I have what's called my personal board of directors. And I've talked about this in other speeches I've given. Well, guess what? You all just became members of my board of directors. So what happens there is you don't necessarily know you're on the board, and it's a fluid board. So folks are coming in and off that board all the time. So all throughout my journey, I've had people ask me if I had a mentor. No, I didn't have a mentor. I had thousands of mentors. Because guess what? I don't know everything. I know a little bit about this, and a little bit about that, and a little bit about nothing. But guess what? Everybody knows something. And I can learn from every single one of you. And so my board of directors has people on it like my husband, Ken Corby, who is a phenomenal human. He supports me. He calls himself the driver, by the way. So he calls him my driver. And so I tell him, well, please don't ever stop being my driver, because guess what he does? He drives me to be a better person. He drives me to do better things, to grow. He drives me crazy sometimes. But don't ever stop driving me, Ken. So he couldn't be here today. He's in the United States still. But obviously, sense his love. He's behind me the whole way. And we have a lot of people like that. Shakti has been behind me forever. When I gave a speech at the University of Arkansas at Little Rock, I was the distinguished alumni. Well, he took 5 airplane flights and 36 hours to get there. Well, that's somebody supporting you. But that's the whole thing. We don't have one person, we have communities of people. This is our community. EBW is my tribe. You are my community, my family, my friends, all of you that I can't wait to learn more about, to understand where you came from and what you're doing in this empowerment struggle. I'm so happy to be here. I'm honored to represent you. I would love to give all of you a round of applause because I'm thankful that you're here. Because by being here, you're part of the solution. What we are doing together is we are being inclusive. We're taking gender and bias out of the equation, and we're being inclusive of people, of humans, of race. Well, I am a member of the human race. So there's a couple of things I'd like to leave you with. A couple of quotes I read, and of course I'm old, so I have to put my glasses on. So, a wonderful woman that we all know, Mother Teresa, said, "I alone cannot change the world, but I can cast a stone across the waters to create many ripples." Well, man, we are creating not waves, we're creating a tsunami, guys. And I am so proud to be a part of it. And then because my company is a group of technologists and lawyers, we do a lot, obviously, in the legal profession in the world. Well, a very fabulous high court lawyer, Sandra Day O'Connor, said, "It's wonderful to be the first to do something, but I didn't want to be the last. And if I did not do my job well, there may be no second woman on the court." Well, I'm going to do my job extremely well so that there's a ton more on the court. So thank you guys so much for letting me be here. It's an honor and a privilege.
Candice, you are magnificent in more ways than we could conjure up. A real trailblazer of a woman. Amazing, amazing. And an eloquent, articulate speaker. Correct me if I'm wrong. That was fabulous. And that has us inching closer to the close of the inaugural. And I invite, finally, yes, the lovely lady from Kyrgyzstan. Please welcome Ayjan.
Dear all, my name is Ayjan. I'm coming from country not too far from you, Delhi. In Bishkek, it's 3 hours of flight. I'm doing a lot of interesting, fun things, and one of it is I'm training ladies how to become successful, how to inspire men. And I would like to do something as a coach and as just a person who's sitting like 1 hour here. I understand you losing your energy. Can we do one small exercise? I want to ask all of you to stand. Just to stand. Can you come to me, Harbin? I don't know whether it's allowed by Indian culture. First, I would like that we clap for the men who came and supported us. For the men. 1, 2, 3. For the man who is supporting, for all of you, you're just a brave guys who came and say, I'm with all these women. Second thing, let's do some small massage to each other because you're really, really tired. I see some eyes. You just go this way, just straight, just like this, you're turning. Yeah. And like this, yeah, please. You do it this way, you do it this way, and we do the massage, the proper massage. Yeah, like this, because you're all so tired, and now you have to go this way, just be down. Yeah, no, just this way, I wish I could ask someone to make massage to me on this side, yeah. Then you just touch the hair, yeah, please. And some ears. Then we turn the other part, now the other side, and look at me now. You turn your hand, look at me, like this. Then you shake it, and you put on the head. And say, you're such, yeah, I'm not shy. And now you do the shoulder massage, please, guys. Yeah, you have to do the shoulder massage because you're also tired. And now you have to hug each other. You're hugging. Just come and hug each other. Oh, you're so good. Now I wake you up, I see. You're so strong. I love you, India. That was my speech. I have to go. Sorry. Thank you so much. Let's give applause to each other. I think we did a great warm-up. How many minutes of my speech left? So I want to say, I would like to speak about my business. I would like to speak about India, first of all. How inspiring for me to be here. I am from hotel and restaurant background, and I would never know that I would be leading with the women organization in my country, because I started as exchange student in the United States when I was 16, and when all our speakers speak about the ways when you are young, you don't have money, you don't have connections, you don't know where to go, you feel lost, I always knew there was someone who would help me. It was of course, our sacred spirit who's always in us. And since I'm standing here, owning several businesses in different spheres, in construction, in agriculture, a hotel and restaurant, and it was an Italian chain. Now we are going to be vegetarian. My husband became vegetarian after visiting India. 2011, we became vegetarians. So I want to say that India is such an inspirational country for me. You had the first person who cleaned the ocean. Yeah, it was the Bombay. We did something like this 5 years ago. I wrote on Facebook, guys, let's do the clean Lake Issyk-Kul. It's the third lake in the earth, a mountain lake. On Facebook, after 3 days, I had 150 people coming with buses and cleaning the lake. It was 4 tons of waste that we collected at the dam. And then, we did, in 1 year, we did 5 cleanups, ending with 2,000 people cleaning the lake. I'm very proud to say that, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Unfortunately, after collapse of Soviet Union, we lost the culture of, being polite with nature. And a lot of our countryside is not clean. And I know India also facing this problem, and I was inspired by so many stories that power of one. You can change your life if you believe in yourself, in the things that you do sincerely from your heart. So the universe was helping me, and I was invited by Estonian organization called Let's Do It. They were cleaning the countries, like 10% of the country cleans the country, and then it changes the mentality of the million of people. So I tried to do it last year, and we did it with the support of a president of my country, Soronbay Jeenbekov. We could collect 400,000 people, just cleaning our country. It was World Cleanup Day. So I want to say it was such an inspirational thing for me to gather so many people to change their minds. And I would never believe when you speak about dreaming. I thought that we would be in the list of 10, the leading countries who clean up the country. But we won the first prize among 157 countries with percentage involvement. So many things to share. And I wanted to say that for me, this wonderful event, we are reflecting in each other. We are a reflection of each other. And these great speakers that I see today, it's such an honor to be on one stage with you. And I want to thank Harbin and my dear Vinay, Vinay told me that I'm his daughter. I said, you're my brother, you're my soulmate, you are everything for me. And Harbin, I want to thank you, and I think God bless this kind of hearts, because you're uniting such unique people. So I wish all of us to, this is the second stage if we do the training, I try to gather all women in one women circle, and we just imagine how beautiful our land becomes, how beautiful universe, and then we send love to each other. So when you go back to your countries, please remember that there is a country called Kyrgyzstan, and there is 6 million people who are also dreaming, finding their way, because we are also going through difficult economical, political situations, but we all united. We are all here for better life, for better future. Thank you.
Let me tell you, if you ever go to Kyrgyzstan, Aijan runs the world's most amazing Italian restaurant chain. Really, I have not had that kind of Italian food even, in Europe, but in Kyrgyzstan, I went there for the first time. Like she said, it's a 2.5-hour flight from Delhi, very close, beautiful country, beautiful people, and great food at Aijan's restaurant.
Thank you so much. Thank you, darling.
Thank you so much, Aijan. That was wonderful. Thank you for the shoulder and neck love, much needed. And thank you to all of you for taking us on that beautiful, vivid journey of love, inspiration, kindness, generosity from across the world. Really, thank you so much from the depths of our hearts. Thank you. And with that, and to acknowledge the people you are and the icons that you are, we'd like to present to you small mementos of our gratitude.
We would now like to call upon a very special award.
If I could request Dr. Maya Morsi to please join Harbin in giving away the awards. Manu, I hand it to you.
I would like to call upon Lord Swaraj Paul for a very special award this evening. Legendary Leaders of the Decade in Public Life and Community Service. A big round of applause for Lord Swaraj Paul. It is an honor to have you here, sir.
Tripathi, Leaders of the Decade in Mythology and Culture. Meenu Bakshi, Women of the Decade in Innovation and Leadership. Women of the Decade in Arts and Literature. Wahid Merinfar. Leaders of the Decade in Ideation and Innovation. Candice Corby, Woman of the Decade in Law and Leadership. Aijan, Leaders of the Decade in Media and Communications.
We have a birthday girl in the house.
Another birthday.
Hi, John. This is divine timing. If you would join us in wishing her a happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear John. Happy birthday to you.
2 birthdays.
Speakers, if we could request you to come up for a group photograph so we can capture this memory in our hearts and on our computers. Yeah, but then you want to go back first? And following that, I invite everybody to come on the come around the stage, and we will take a group photo as well. Yay! So, we can make rows just below the stage, or we'll have no stage.